Hi, in my indie game, Villages on Wheels, you can gather up to 4 different orbs during a round. The orbs are powerful relics that give abilities, buffs and passive benefits. I recently finished making 10 of them, but what does each of them do? That's what I want to show you in this video. The first and last one are my favorites, so let's get started. Orb of Frost is one of my favorites. It gives you the ability Freezing Crystals, which spawns 3 crystals that orbit around you. They damage and apply ice effect to any enemies they touch, and they can even do it multiple times. It also has a passive that gives you a chance to chill enemies whenever they deal damage to your village. Unlike the other hazards, ice doesn't deal damage over time. Instead, it deals damage every time it's applied. This makes it weaker when applied occasionally, but formidable if you can apply it constantly. It also slows enemies. Coming up next, we have Orb of Protection. This one is pretty straightforward. It passively reduces incoming damage and gives a perfect shield ability. When activated, it prevents all damage to your buildings for a few seconds. It can be useful for getting out of a tight spot if you time it right. Orb of Winds does not have a passive effect, but it gives 2 abilities instead. Tornado creates a large damage over time area with high base damage. It has a delay before it starts, so you need to take that into account when choosing the casting point. It's especially effective when combined with slows and other crowd control effects, such as wind pull ability. The other ability is Twisters. Like Freezing Crystals, it spawns 3 orbiters, but these don't follow you. Instead, they orbit the cast point. They don't deal damage by default, but they slow anything that touches them. Well, anything but the caster. You have the option to consume the Twister, which increases your village's movement speed for a while. Orb of Plenty is a pretty unique one because it has no direct combat effects, but it has 3 different effects. Stockpile simply gives a lot of wood, which can be a nice boost to your resources. One of its passive effects reduces the effect of overflow. You also get a pile-up buff that increases both wood and stone over time. It's a non-expiring buff, so it simply starts again when the timer runs out. The other passive effect is what makes this orb interesting. It says, whenever one of your resources overflows, gain plentiness buff that gives stats benefits. So what is overflow? It is a mechanic that reduces your resources if you have more than you can carry. In itself, overflow is a negative effect, but with the plentiness buff, it can give movement speed, building speed and more resources per gatherer. So this orb actually encourages you to stay in overflow for as long and as often as possible. Going back to the damage dealers, here is Orb of Flames. This one gives Flame Strike ability, which tosses a fireball to the selected area. It deals moderate damage on impact and ignites enemies, dealing damage over time. The passive effect adds chance for weapon projectiles to be affected with fire, so they too can ignite hit targets. Another one focusing on survival is Orb of Evasion. Teleport instantly moves your village to the direction it's facing, so you can get away from the frying pan, but hopefully not into the fire. Its passive gives you a chance to completely avoid incoming damage, which is arguably the more powerful effect on this orb. Orb of Efficiency does not give any abilities or buffs. It has 2 passive effects. One of them simply increases the operation efficiency of all your buildings. This means every building performs its action faster, whether that's shooting enemies, repairing the village, or something else. The other passive reads, whenever your utility building performs its action, set one of your buildings to 200% overdrive for 4 seconds. As you might have guessed, overdrive is a mechanic that temporarily increases the operation efficiency of the building to big numbers. Utility buildings are your non-combat buildings, such as the workshop. This orb can be great for builds that focus on maximizing the number of projectiles your combat buildings fire. Orb of Corruption does not have abilities, but it gives a buff and 1 passive effect. Corrupting Aura is a non-expiring buff that applies corruption to few nearby enemies. Corruption is the most powerful hazard in the game. It has high base damage and the damage increases with every overtime tick. The passive gives a chance to apply corruption to nearby enemies when your utility buildings perform their action. As a little side note, The game has a legendary blessing that turns all applied hazards into corruption, which makes frost, flames, and an upcoming orb sources of corruption as well, enabling even more build options. As the second last we have Orb of Speed, which passively increases your village's movement speed and gives ability Immense Speed. The ability sets your village's movement speed and damage avoidance a chance to their effective maximum values, making it a great escape tool. And finally, we have the 10th orb and one of my favorites ones, Orb of Lightning. It gives ability Lightning Strike that deals massive damage in a small target area, making it excellent for sniping more durable enemies. The orb's passive effect gives a chance to apply shock to one nearby enemy whenever your combat building shoots. With builds that spam combat buildings, this effect can trigger constantly. I might make more orbs in the future, but for now, these 10 are plenty enough. With 4 orbs chosen each round, there are already 210 possible combinations of them, which is a pretty good number for a roguelite. Next, I'll focus on creating more blessings. I already have 25 of them, but I want to push that number to around 50 or 60. They'll also get a showcase video, so stay tuned. Until next time.